Hi everyone, welcome to English Today Journey. And hey, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy learning English in a simple and practical way.
Hello everyone and welcome to English Today Journey. I'm really glad that you're here. Before we begin, remember to subscribe so you can get helpful English tips every day. Now, let's start this episode where we talk about big, useful ideas in English that is easy to understand and powerful enough to use in real life. My goal is not just to help you improve your English skills, but also to help you grow as a thinker, a communicator, and a person. If you're someone who wants to speak English more clearly and confidently while also learning ideas that can make your daily life better, then you're definitely in the right place. Every episode on this channel is created with two things in mind: to help you speak more fluently and to give you something valuable that you can use outside the classroom. Today's topic is something I believe is extremely important, especially in the world we live in now, where things are always changing and challenges appear when we least expect them. Our topic today is creative problem solving. When you first hear this phrase, you might think, but I'm not a creative person, or that sounds like something for artists, designers, or inventors. Not for me. Many people believe creativity is only for certain types of people, but that is not true at all. Creative problem solving is not just for professionals who create art or build new inventions. It is something every one of us uses in our everyday life, often without even noticing. Think about your daily routine. Life rarely goes exactly the way we plan. Sometimes things break, plans change, or unexpected problems appear. Maybe you miss the bus, or your computer stops working, or you have too much work to finish in a short amount of time. These moments can be stressful, confusing, or disappointing. And in situations like these, the answer is not always in the old rules we learned or the usual steps we normally follow. Sometimes, what helps us move forward is the ability to stay flexible, try a different approach, or look at the problem from a new angle. That is exactly what creative problem solving means. It's not about being an artist or an inventor. It's about being able to think in new ways when the usual way doesn't work. It's about asking better questions instead of giving up. It's about finding another path when the one in front of you is blocked. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and improved. In today's episode, we're going to explore this idea step by step. First, we'll talk about what creative problem solving really means and how it is different from simply following instructions or using normal, traditional logic. Then, we'll explore why this skill matters so much in the modern world, a world filled with fast changes, new technologies, and unexpected challenges. When you learn how to think creatively, you're not just improving your English, you're also building a mindset that can help you in school, at work, and in your personal life. Now, let's continue exploring why creative problem solving is so important, not only in school or at work, but also in our everyday lives. Every day, we face small challenges and unexpected situations, and many of them require us to think in a flexible and creative way. Later in this episode, we will talk about some of the biggest things that block our creativity. These obstacles can include fear of making mistakes, perfectionism, or that negative little voice in our head that says, "This idea is silly," or "Don't even try." Everyone has that voice sometimes, but learning how to quiet it is an important part of growing. Of course, I won't just talk about creativity in theory. I'll also share practical strategies you can start using right away to think more creatively and solve problems more confidently. These are simple steps that anyone can learn, and the more you practice them, the easier and more natural they become. As we go through this episode, I'll also ask you a few questions. These questions are meant to help you think deeply about your own experiences, your habits, and the way you usually approach problems. This episode isn't just something to listen to, it's something to learn from and grow with. So, I invite you to stay with me until the very end. I promise that what you'll learn today will be useful, maybe even inspiring, and definitely filled with clear, simple English that you can understand easily and use in your own conversations. All you need to do right now is take a deep breath, relax a little, and open your mind to new ideas. Together, we're going to look at the world and at your challenges in a fresh new way. Let's begin opening your creative mind right here, step by step. What is creative problem solving? To understand this idea better, let's break it down into simple parts. First, think about the word problem. A problem is anything that needs a solution. It can be something blocking your progress or something preventing you from reaching a goal. Sometimes problems are big and serious, and sometimes they are small and ordinary, like losing your keys or missing a bus. But no matter the size, a problem always asks the same question: what can I do about this? Now think about the word creative. Many people think creativity only belongs to artists, musicians, or writers, but that's not true at all. Creative simply means using your imagination and thinking in new, different, and flexible ways. It's about coming up with fresh ideas, seeing things from another angle, or exploring possibilities you might not have considered before. So when we put the words together, creative problem solving, we are talking about finding solutions by using new ideas, flexible thinking, and sometimes even unusual or unexpected methods. This kind of thinking becomes especially helpful when the traditional or obvious solutions fail. When the regular path is blocked, creative problem solving invites you to explore a new one. Some people believe that solving problems is always a straight and simple process. They imagine it like a formula. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, and then suddenly you reach the answer. This kind of thinking is called linear problem solving. It works well for things like math or chemistry, where rules stay the same and answers are predictable. If A plus B equals C, then you always follow the same steps and reach the same result. In some situations, life works in a simple, predictable way. When you follow a recipe to cook a meal or follow instructions to build a chair, you are using linear problem solving. The steps are clear, and if you follow them one by one, you'll almost always get the same result. It's like solving a math problem, A plus B equals C, and there's no confusion about the outcome. But here's the big question. What about the problems that don't come with instructions? What about the moments when life doesn't give you a clear recipe to follow? What do you do when you're faced with a situation that makes you think, I don't even know where to start? We all experience moments like that, moments when we feel stuck, confused, or unsure of what to do next. And this is where creative problem solving becomes incredibly important. Creative problem solving does not rely on strict rules or fixed steps. Instead, it focuses on your mindset, the way you choose to approach a challenge. Instead of only asking, what is the correct answer? You begin asking, what are all the possible answers? This small shift changes everything. You start seeing the problem from different angles. You begin asking new types of questions such as, what if I try something totally different? What if the answer isn't outside of me, but inside me? What if the real problem isn't the situation, but the way I'm thinking about it? When you ask better, more open questions, you often discover better, more creative solutions. Let's look at a few simple examples to make this idea more real and practical. Example 1. Everyday life. Imagine you've planned a family dinner. The food is prepared, the table is set, and everything is ready for a nice evening. Suddenly, the electricity goes out. Now you can't use the oven, the microwave, or any other electrical appliance. Most people would feel frustrated, stressed, or even think about canceling the dinner. It might feel like the whole evening is ruined. But what if you get creative instead? You could light candles and turn the evening into a warm, special, cozy dinner. You might cook on a gas stove or a small outdoor grill if you have one. Or you could change the plan completely and make it a fun cold dinner night with sandwiches, fruits, salads, and snacks. Instead of a ruined evening, you've created a memorable experience, something unique that your family may talk about for years. That's creative problem solving in everyday life. Example 2. At work. Imagine you're at work and your team is supposed to give a presentation to a client. You've prepared slides, documents, and everything you need. But right before the meeting, your computer crashes or the projector stops working. Normally, this could create panic. People might say, We can't do anything without the slides, or the meeting is ruined. But a creative problem solver doesn't stop there. Instead, they look for new possibilities. Maybe you decide to give the presentation without slides and focus on storytelling instead. Maybe you gather your team and quickly sketch a few ideas on a whiteboard. Maybe you turn the situation into a chance to show your communication skills, confidence, and teamwork. Sometimes, these unexpected challenges create opportunities to impress others even more. In both examples, the situation didn't go according to plan. But instead of giving up, a creative thinker looks for what can be done rather than what can't be done. That is the heart of creative problem solving, staying flexible, curious, and open-minded even when things seem difficult. Now, let's think about the workplace. Imagine you are leading an important project and suddenly two of your team members can't be there anymore. At first, you might feel stressed or even panic a little because the plan you created depended on those people. But instead of letting fear take over, you step back for a moment and begin asking useful questions. You might ask yourself, is there a faster or simpler way to finish this task? Can we adjust the deadline? Is there someone from another department who can help us for a few days? When you start exploring these questions, you are no longer reacting automatically. You are thinking creatively. You're opening your mind, looking at the problem from new angles, and finding possibilities that weren't obvious at the beginning. This is what it means to think outside the box in a real-life situation. Example 3. Relationships. Creative problem solving is also incredibly powerful in relationships. Imagine you and a close friend have a misunderstanding. You try to explain your point of view, but your friend still feels hurt or upset. Your natural reaction might be to argue again, defend yourself more, or simply walk away. But creative problem solving invites you to take a different approach. Maybe instead of speaking face-to-face, you write them a thoughtful message or a letter where you can express yourself calmly. Or maybe you change the environment. Invite them for a walk, a cup of coffee, or a relaxed conversation outside the stressful situation. Sometimes, just changing how you communicate completely changes the result. A small shift can bring clarity, comfort, or understanding that wasn't there before. So you see, creative problem solving is not just about being intelligent or quick thinking. It is about being open. It's about being willing to try new things, experiment, take small risks, make mistakes, and then keep trying again. Creativity does not always mean inventing something totally new or coming up with a wild idea that nobody has ever heard of. Many times, creativity is a very small change, a tiny shift in perspective, a new question, or a fresh way of combining two familiar ideas. Creative problem solving is rooted in your mindset, choosing curiosity over frustration, and choosing flexibility instead of feeling stuck. And here is something essential to remember. You do not need to be an artist, a designer, or an inventor to be creative. Every human being is creative in their own way. Creativity shows up in the way you cook, the way you study, the way you plan your day, the way you manage stress, or the way you communicate with the people around you. You might be creative when you organize your schedule, when you solve a small problem at home, or when you find a new way to motivate yourself. Creativity isn't only a natural gift that a few people are born with. It is also a skill that anyone can learn and strengthen. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more questions you ask, the more ideas appear. And the more open you stay, the easier it becomes to find new solutions, even in difficult moments. Creative problem solving is not about perfection. It's about openness, curiosity, and the courage to try something different. Creativity is not just a natural talent, it is also a skill. And like any other skill, you can practice it, strengthen it, and improve it over time. The more you use creative thinking, the more confident you become in solving problems, not only with logic, but with imagination and flexibility. So the next time you face a challenge, big or small, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Then ask yourself, is there another way to look at this?